budget. Here we go. We're into the game now. Tunisia versus Namibia. And we are live on Inferno for the first map here, the best of 3. Definitely curious to see what Namibia. They're going to be starting on the T side here. So, you know, that can actually, I think, sometimes be a little bit nice. Like you get to make more decisions. Maybe you're a little bit less favored because of the map, but you're the one in charge of where you want to go and how you want to play.
Yeah, and it has to be said as well that currently, statistically, this is the most even map in the pool. It's 52% CT-sided, so it's only ever so slightly CT-sided. So I think T-side starts can have their benefits. You set the tempo, you're the one to control the speed of the game a little bit. You're the one who dictates when the fights are taken.
Oh, he's in trouble. He's alone.
Yeah, he's got other ideas here. He's got to try and get at least one, and he can't. Shackles and Tura will get one apiece. That's a good way to start things off, but they're still pressing towards B.
Yeah, but what does he have here? One player, dualies. Okay, that's at least something to work with, right? He's got the bullets to try and shut down everybody, but with no real backup, it's not going to be easy. They surely run him down. Yeah, just the one kill for Phallus. So far, so good. Wriggler with a little bit of jump around the corner. He's got the right idea, looking for nowhere behind the sands. A nice shot, though, on the Glock in Namibia to take the pistol round.
Yeah, a bit of a cry as well from them. They know that's a big round to take. Early scalp like that's really going to set the tone nice and well. However, there's one thing that we've always got to keep in our minds, and we saw this happen in the game against Morocco, is that they did take a bit of time to get in towards the game. Just a bit of time to warm up. But it was once they warmed up, they were so difficult to shut down. So maybe they've got to start strong and then continue this going forward. But very good pistol round taken from them. Early fight there with Pote didn't need to happen. He didn't need to push down Banana on his own. Or at least if he was, a bit of support, a smoke or a flash.
Yes.
Sort of help him fight in that sense. Didn't happen. We're going to see a bit of a low bite.
They've got 5 Mac 10s. I kind of vibe with this. Like, they're at least going to make the money. Okay, a little bit of a kill and return, and a team kill in the middle of it, but they're cleaning up the round as they definitely should be without the lack of armor on the CT side.
Yeah.
This is kind of what we expect. So no real surprise. Probably, I mean, if you look at it overall, you might say, well, it's hard for everyone to make the money back of the Mac 10.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe they just use them in the next round anyway.
Yeah, Zest made his money back. He's a very rich man at the moment. 3 kills to his name. That 600 kill bonus, he's looking absolutely fine. Speaking of a Mac 10, Ridger's going to pick himself up 1. That was dropped as well as off the back of Zeph's team kill. So there's a Mac 10 on the other side. It may still be a little bit precarious. Molotov will tickle the toes. They now know Wriggler's there. He might just dip out of this save, potentially stick around, see what he can do. But he has briefly been spotted, I'm sure of it. He's taking a bit of spam as well. Does get tagged, and now Wriggler, I don't know, we know what you do here. Just going to probably save. Here's a Mac 10. I don't even think he'll really use it the next round either way. And he'll die regardless to the bomb. No armor, and you just no way he's going to get far enough away in that time. Namibia, nice round. Only a couple of casualties, one of them being a team casualty too, so you're not giving kill bonus on the other side. I guess it's not the end of the world with those Mac 10s. And now they're coming towards this round. They've got double AK, triple Mac 10. It's a bonus buy.
Yes.
So the expectations aren't exactly taking this round. It's about primarily making it expensive.
To be honest, you rarely see CTs use the Mac 10. Even if you successfully save it, you say, whatever, like we're not going to really want to try that. So not too worried about him losing in the last round. Third round coming up here, and you're right, it is a bit of a bonus round for Namibia. So if you can do some damage, you get the bomb planted, keep the economy low on the Tunisian side. That's a bit of a win in itself. Obviously, win the round entirely, then you're really cooking at that point in time. You're off to a decent start here. But it's too early to tell at the moment here. Again, they're favoring Tunisia, leaving Phallus alone over at the B-bomb. So it's not a big problem. It's very standard, in fact, on Inferno. But we'll see if it's going to come back to bite them later on. Maybe Namibia have a bit of a plan right now if they want to take control of top mid. That's going to be super difficult. There's a lot of people here.
You can see as well, Romain goes over and he drops off a util towards CT. So they're just going to let him sit there and basically just keep rotating this util out. Keep just trading it through and through. First fight, they're taking him towards short. Shackles for 1. Potai for the trade. Trying to get this control. Romain will come in for support. It is scrappy. And Romain gets a few. Potai will get 1. He dips off. Kazi's dropped from in towards pit. I mean, at the very least, it's a decent position, but they know he's there. And he's all alone. I mean, what can he actually even do?
Yeah, he needs his teammates to come through the middle, right? Like, they have to be more successful, but then his flank is going to be really sick. But without it, not really on him to try and do anything. I think he also has to push with the smoke to even get there. Only the 1 kill on Wriggler. Again, keeping the economy low, I think, is super important here for Namibia. So a bit of a shame they couldn't do a little bit more, but not necessarily the end of the world. Like, it's a bonus round, so you just have to kind of power through. But also, like, with no bomb plant, so a little bit less money in the bank.
There might actually be, you know, especially those 2 guys who invested in towards AKs, there might actually be an issue for them where I think, if I'm right in saying, if money checks out, they should be on double eco because they're on about 1.4k. So then they actually have to force into this, but they can't bring a hell of a lot. They're going to like Tech 9 to half armor, maybe a bit of util. I don't even think they could go Mach 10s, so it makes it a little bit awkward. And I mean, yeah, Nowhere's on 1.4, but he has actually bought a P250. But even still, he's going to technically ecoed next round as well. Shackle's same for him, 1.7, but they haven't got the loss bonus built up. So the money's actually really feeble towards Namibia, but they have low ball here. Normally, I would just buy back in towards a round like this and just try and reset the economy fully. Nowhere gets caught through the smoke. Fire's on the spam. Just get one. Couple more crossover behind it, though. Where are we going to go here, Pistols? They've got a little bit of util to work with. Double flash, smoke, and an nades. Not exactly the worst scenario to maybe try and get a bomb plant, but it's going to be tough.
That would be a real luxury at the moment here. Tech 9's got the right idea, but unfortunately unable to hit the shot there, so Tura goes down. Shackleton, Kazi left. 2 versus 4.
And the tags, they should be dropped very quickly. Shackles with that P250, going to try and make a little move in towards apartments. Got the support of the Tech 9 too. I feel like, though, this one is probably unlikely to get started. Famas will swing in. Chidondra going to double to close things out. Tunisia going to tie this game up. 2 rounds apiece. And yeah, now we've got a bit of a conversation to be had. Nowhere's on 3.3, so he's actually going to struggle to buy in properly. Maybe a Galil armor is the route you'd go here over the Mach 10, because you know there's head armor on the other side. Or does he try and go for that Mach 10 and hope that he can just get a couple of body shots off the back? But it's tough. I think in terms of their finances, it's so all over the place, because they've got, one player's got like 7.5k. That's enough to buy an AWP, but on the other side, then Mach 10's alongside us. And they do actually get that. AWP will come through, and it's actually Nowhere's going to pick up the AWP, and he'll drop over the Galil towards Shackles. That's how they made this sort of work.
Okay, fair enough. It means they have a little bit more utility. I kind of appreciate that. I'd like to see them try and, do some more executes, have at least the flashes to get around some of the corners here. I think that's important. Again, push to the middle, actually the bottom of Banana now, so a different variation in the defense here for Tunisia, which is nice. You want to keep the T side guessing so that it's not just always the same look every single round, but yeah, this is going to be really hard to break through. It should be, at least. See if they can do anything here. Fallas taking a lot of the attention away. You can see nobody's thinking about it. Shackles goes down, and Fallas going to take down Nowhere as well. Almost peeking into the reload. That's a little bit of a risk, but right through the smoke is nearly a double kill. That was almost collateral there on the Seth. He could have been dropped without even knowing what hit him.
And now he's all alone. Tagged. Surely no chance in this round as well. 1v3 feels like it's asking just a little bit too much. Smoking towards mid, smoking towards Banana. He has nowhere to go. Everywhere that he possibly would try to make a move towards the site is blocked off by smokes. And all Tunisia have to do is just play time. And they've got plenty of it to work with. 40 seconds to just try and tick down this clock with that util. Got the smoke. Potile spots him. Zephyr fall, and Tunisia 3-4-3. Since the guns have come out, they've been in control.
Yeah, I think, again, you like the silver linings here have to be about doing damage. Like, even if you lose a bunch of rounds right now for Namibia, if you can do enough, like get about 3 kills per round or more, at least you're keeping them close enough that you have some way back into the game. But if they build too much money on the CT side, that's typically when things really get out of control. It's very, very hard to recover. So we'll see. Yeah, they're struggling a little bit right now to get good openings into the rounds. Like you can tell, without getting Banana or top mid control, you're kind of locked in on the T side, right? Like those are tactical platforms from which you can execute the rest of the round. Without those positions, I mean, you can make out of spawn calls, and that is not necessarily even a bad thing. Like, if you want to do that, then that's like, but that's a very different game you're playing. Then you're saying, all right, let's just cross our fingers and hope we get there.
And it feels like right now as well, they are doing that in the sense that Namibia are making a call out of spawn, but the issue is it's not going successfully off the rip, and then the mid to late rounds actually letting them down. They get a little bit lost, but we don't understand where we go from here. Or, plan A's fail was plan B. We don't actually have the contingencies yet for that plan B, and that's been a little bit of the costly one. Great util sets, though, being dropped it by Tunisia. They're so happy to take this control, and you can see why, right? Because it's been working. Pop flash over, doesn't affect up close, but Falles was reloading. Thankfully, Remine's going to get the kill. In this game as well, we're not seeing that Remind lurk. We're seeing him actually be super aggro in terms of these opening fights. He's playing in the thick of it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like that. I tend to think if you feel like you are ahead of your opponent, like putting more pressure on them instead of waiting around, is definitely the way to go, right? Because you're taking away so much of the space that they might need to kind of like put their feet on the ground and like feel a little bit at home. Like, if you can take that away from them, then you're just going to be winning a lot more, and that's a good idea. trying to make it out in towards the pit is going to be very, very difficult. You just don't have the utility for it, unfortunately. Chidon's going to get a little bit of chance to have a say, but it's a very good round for Tunisia. They're loving life right now.
And this is the awkward position that we're kind of getting into now for Namibia. It's full buy-in, go into a round, do very minimal amounts of damage, and not get a bomb plant. So their economy's not building up. They're getting loss bonus, yeah, but it's 3.4k loss bonus. There's no bomb plant off the back of it, giving them that extra 800. So they just left in a bit of a low space in terms of the economy. So it's this rinse and repeat cycle that is so brutal for them. Buy-in, lose the round, no bomb plant, have to eco the next, buy in again. And this is the cycle they have to break. If they don't, they're going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble. Otay,
all right,
getting aggro. This is a ballsy move. He looks into a second mid. There's a deep smoke that's going to give him coverage, and he will just dip away. Doesn't overextend.
It's 12,000 on Chidon as well, like in terms of having a bank on the CT side. That's pretty difficult to overcome, but we'll see if they're going to be able to. Yeah, but time is very good with the AWP in some of the earlier games that we saw him in, so that was exciting. Kazi, it's a nice opening here. Fallas thought someone was up close, and he nearly gets the double in return, but that's not quite enough. You can see Kazi surviving there on 16 health, so very close to shutting it down. The bomb is all the way on the other side, so Kazi, I think, is doing a good job sort of playing a distraction here.
Yeah.
If they can get into the A bomb side right now, I think it'd be well worth it.
They dropped the smoke in towards Coffins. Oh, yeah, I was going to say, for a second, that could work. They dropped the smoke in towards Coffins. Kazi goes through it. And it could have been a slight oversight, but it wasn't. Otay holds, finds. Only issue is Tura's now here out towards A. Bomb will go down planted by Zeph. First time we've seen a plant too. Numbers advantage for Namibia in this post plant. This is tough. There is a little bit of a util set though on the other side.
Yeah, and this is where experience comes in, right? Like, you're playing for the bomb now. You're not looking for fights. They put up smokes. There's a good sign, right? They understand. Just try and keep the CTs away. Don't allow them to take any kind of battles right now. So they're doing everything right at the moment. I like this from Namibia. The afterplant's looking very good right now. Bombs slowly ticking away, and they're making life very hard for Tunisia on the retake. Seth with a nice headshot. Yeah, super well disciplined. This is very cool to see because if you have a little bit less experience or you're a little bit stressed out by, you know, losing a couple of rounds here, and that's where you start to make mistakes. You're fighting more than you should be, and you end up losing these rounds. So, yeah, great play for Namibia. I enjoy that. Yeah,
exactly. That's really well played, right? I think at the end there as well, it's kind of perfectly done because there's only one player taking contact. He's the site player itself. They got a player towards pit and a player towards mini pit. Both of them aren't showing any presence. There's a nade thrown over towards that motor smoke to break it open for the site player to peek, and he gets his kill. It's expertly played. You can't complain about that at all. So hopefully this can be more of the same coming through for Namibia. But at the moment, it is still a game which is in the control of Tunisia. And like you already mentioned, plenty of cash to work with over for them. They are players, multiple of them on 10,000 plus. So they're going to have sort of no issues reinvesting back in towards this one. The issue is, though, how do they maybe change things up? I think only really one thing went wrong for me in that round for Tunisia was actually just maybe the slight over-aggression, or actually I think more the oversight, because they just didn't expect the player already in Banana. He was tucked in Cubby, and he caught them on the reload, right? That was the issue. Caught the first guy on the reload, second guy behind it, and I think that was just an oversight. They actually thought they were still behind the smoke. Maybe just didn't expect them to be as audacious as they were, right? But it worked. So I think that's the only thing that really cost Tunisia in that round, which is that slight oversight. If they can fix that, I think they would have been absolutely fine.
It looks a little bit in some of those banana engagements right now for Tunisia, like they're so carefree in what's happening. Like they're you know, sort of half peeking while reloading. Like they might just feel like, well, it's all going to be fine, right? Yeah. And that's good as far as it goes, but you've got to be like Namibia. They seem to like, you know, they're able to hit some of these shots like that. You know, you've got to be careful that you're not giving, like you're not feeling too confident either, because suddenly you end up losing some of those fights and the money runs out. You don't really know what could happen here.
Peeks behind that smoke as well. Very close to that shot. Just whisks past his shoulder. Will be met with a nade on towards half warp. That's going to hurt him. Molotov will force him further back as well. But there's two players out in front of this. So Otay gets forced back, yes, but the lack of control is not there. Tunisia have very good presence here towards top banana.
Yeah, for Otay, like that peak in itself tells you something about like the level of experience, right? It's like I'm gonna exploit every single gap. So pretty cool to see. But they will get the early kill. It's Fallas to go down. Like you said, there's a lot of people here at Top Banana, so they might not be expecting for there to still be a presence. Pop flash in from the site itself. It's a good idea. Potay's going to be showing up now. He's the only one here with the AWP. If he dies, the round is probably going to be gone with him. Yeah,
flash will come over. Won't catch him. But he won't be able to catch anything himself because they're not going to commit towards this banana play just yet. Bit of presence over towards A, bit of presence in towards mid. They're under no need to go towards B. However, he peeks in, spots nobody, and that might start to be a bit of a relay of information. Fellas, nothing here. Eyes up when you go towards A. Smoke towards long. What's sort of perfectly timed as well in towards apartments. I'll just slow them down if they wanted to go for that peak, but they're actually grouping up via a short play.
Wriggler has another Molotov, so because there's only 25 seconds left, if he throws it down at the right time, which is pretty good right here, going to burn even more time off the clock, it's very uncomfortable. But Tay would get the shot onto Kazi, and they're trying to plant the bomb right in front, but they kind of have to clear the side a little bit here. Wriggler in a perfect position, and with only 13 seconds left here, this is falling apart nowhere alone, and he might just have to save the AWP. He really can't plant the bomb, obviously. They're all on front, so great grenade usage late in the round for Tunisia. It's making life very, very hard for the T side.
Yeah, well, the one real question I had there for Namibia is sort of why they don't commit to the plant, because they tap on towards it. There's no spam behind it, and then they get off the plant. And in doing so, it actually gives Tunisia a chance to reposition, get onto his cold zero box, and then find him as he pushes through that smoke. That's the only thing that could have changed things up. If they just committed to that short plant, there was a smoke there, so they were sort of covered in that sense. They probably would have been okay, but ends up not being, and it will be yet another round for Tunisia, 5-3. So far, so good. Namibia back to a bit of an awkward buy. They got that AWP saved, yes, but then around it, the supports aren't exactly great. We're talking, a Mac 10 and a few Tech 9s, bit of U-tools, gonna be awkward. Valeth, 1, looking for 2. Reminder coming for support. Double from him as Kazi and Zeph get caught.
Oh, the grenade down in front as well. Doing a little bit of damage. Nice shot from nowhere. He's gonna be able to take down Remind. That'll get them started. The bomb is still committed to that side, so there's no question they have to find their way through. And the awkward timing there. Grenade in hand, and Fal is able to take them both down. So it's Tunisia kind of back on track here. Like they're getting control of this game very hard now.
Yeah, nicely done. So far, so good. Cannot complain. Of course, this is their opponent's map pick as well. So if they're able to take this and relatively comfortably too, it sets them up very nicely for the series. Of course, we saw this not yesterday, the day before against Morocco, where on their opponent's map pick, it was that marathon of a game, but then on their own, that's where they were in, a world of comfort, right? So this might be more of the same here. For Namibia, we really need to see them get probably at least 5 rounds T-side to be somewhat comfortable. Anything less, I start to get a little bit worried.
A little bit of typing going on, so I'm wondering if everything is all right. They seem to be making their way out of spawn. But
everyone's moving, yeah.
Yeah.
But then, something tells me this might be a little reset here. Nobody took damage, right?
Yeah.
So at the very least, that's okay.
Feels like it could be a round restart coming in. We'll see what the admins say when they figure it out. But yeah, there we go. Bit of a restart. Fair enough. Sometimes it happens. Good to get a little bit of a reset. So, like you said, if nobody takes any damage, it's a lot easier to redo the round than if people have already been in a fight. Obviously, it's going to be really awkward.
I guess it's a good time as well for us to talk about the veto as well. We really haven't touched on that. Inferno, of course, on map number 1. Dust 2 is our pick by Tunisia, and if we need it, we've got Anubis as that third. I mean, Dust 2 as well as that pick coming through. Something that actually Tunisia did play in the qualifiers and quite successfully. They beat Ghana, I think it was 13-0, and they looked pretty good at it. So that's a map in which we kind of saw in the qualifiers. It looked very, very solid on, and sort of expectations that it might be more of the same here. That's why I guess it probably puts a lot more pressure onto us as Inferno. I think if Namibia are to drop this map, it would really put a bit of a spanner in the works for them and their chances of moving forward in towards that next stage. Oh yeah, for sure. But they're doing so well right now, Tunisia. I feel like they're not having to put a ton of effort into some of these rounds, right? Like it's kind of there for it. Like I don't think they're reaching deep into, like they don't have to, there's no timeouts needed to discuss anything. Like as long as this keeps going, they're going to be happy with what they're doing at the moment. So no reason to change anything. Yeah, and Dust 2 is a great map. Like if you feel like you've got the mechanical advantage, like you're going to be running wild. Like you see Pote with some of these AWP challenges. Like Dust 2 is going to be doing that even more. And then, we haven't even really talked about Remind yet, but obviously we know that he has another gear that he can go to if they need it. So that could be in the future too for Namibia, unfortunately. It's true, and the real interesting thing is I think Inferno is one of those maps. It's actually very difficult to be a lurking presence bar apartments lurks, right? And of course, you only really do apartments lurks on the T side anyway. So Remind can't really do what he does best, which is actually getting in behind and being a bit of a nuisance and all the rest, and kind of catching people off guard. Dust 2 is a great map for that. There's so many different places you can play from. You can play, late lurks out towards long doors. That's a very popular one that people seem to do. Late lurking in towards upper and lower tunnels as well, over towards B, things like that, lurking out of mid doors as well, just trying to find a bit of a gap there. This is where a player of Remind's sort of stature, we saw what he was like on Anubis on kind of that map 1 where he can just do a lot of damage. So definitely something we're going to keep an eye on Oh, mashes towards second mid. Rigger's going to take a fight here. This could work out in his favor. Remind will come and support him. Zeph will fall. Tura will answer back. Wrigley gets caught on the trade, and Tura adds a double as Remind also falls as well. Maybe a slight overextension from Tunisia. Yeah, you're left in a chance here, but there's an apartments player. Chidonjo transfer for the both. How?
Oh, he should be dead right then. He's actually coming back for more. That's so risky. Nowhere's going to be able to take him down. That's pretty sick, though. I mean, I actually like it from Tunisia, changing the, completely. They've been aggressive on bottom banana. Now they flashed their way over into second mid to try and really catch the T's off guard. I think Shackle's got a bit of an advantage here, but Fallas, I didn't think he'd actually seen him, but maybe he was aware. Now, Nowhere's going to be alone, 1 versus 2, right through the Molotov. He wanted to take that fight before the backup arrived. It makes sense, but it's just a very hard fight to win there. So, good job on Fallas, I think, to save the round there.
Yeah. I think Fallas, so he's playing the pixel peak, right? We just, literally, like I said, you can only spot a pixel, right? But the way he goes about it is actually quite interesting. Normally, and the way he was kind of set up for, he pixel peaked, he had a Molotov in hand, but he actually opts not to use it in that first fight, because he's like, whoa, I haven't spotted him again. That means he has cross. He's on that left-hand side. Let me just swing him. It's a right-side peak for him. So he has a slight advantage, especially in a LAN environment. So it's quite well played in that sense. And then the Molotov behind for the second, really, really expertly done. If he falls, the B-side's open, the bomb plant goes down, and it's a long old road to retake as well. That's going to chip away a solid 10 seconds or so off that clock. 7-3. Tunisia have guaranteed bare minimum a lead heading in towards that second half. Shackles, though, will find the first. Spam is good. Remind gets caught.
Yeah, they managed to silence him a couple of times now. That's great. It's a perfect start if you can do that.
Ooh, perfect nade.
That is a touchdown, isn't it?
Yeah.
It couldn't have landed harder on him, I think. So, unfortunately, they lose that presence. And the question is, what do you do now? Do you go back and retake it, or do you just try and push on towards the A bomb site?
True.
It can feel very telegraphed if you just keep going after losing banana, because you're like, well, they know we're going to call it. They very likely know, right?
Yeah.
They've checked. There's nobody else on banana. So obviously it's going to be A, and you're going to actually see that they're rotating a third man in towards the A bomb site. So there's going to be a lot of defense here very soon.
That's very true. Jironji's repositioned and safely as well. Smoke out for the cross. Fala's going to play behind this one. There's the first. Second was behind him. He can't quite find his aim. Nowhere will trade. Tag on towards Jironji as well, but they don't expect Wriggler on the site. It's messy, and it's working in favor of Tunisia. And Wriggler 180s for the second. Beautiful shutdown again towards the site. Tunisia find yet another round. And now we're in my sort of worrying spot, like I said. I said, if Namibia can't get at least 5, I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah.
And the best they can do now is 4.
I would agree. So much of it now is going to be hinging as well on winning the pistol in the second half all of a sudden. So they're definitely running into some trouble here. But again, I feel like if they can get into sort of straight aim battles, it seems like they were actually able to win some of those fights.
Yeah.
But it does kind of require getting some of the openings, and they've had a really tough time with it. 2 MAC-10s, 2 Galils for the last year. Some aggression in the middle, and almost getting out of control here for Tunisia. I think they're able to stabilize for a moment, but we'll see how long that lasts for. Pate, he's in a position where he loses a fight here. He's going to be dead, or misses a shot. Yeah, there we go. Instantly gets dropped. Molotov to slow them down, and Kazi actually wants to push in front. Fallas, he might have seen this, though. Ready behind the wooden boards. Oh, I almost thought he screwed that up, but well done again. Running down, not even with the rifle out. Remind goes down, and suddenly it's a 1 versus 1. It might have backfired here on Tunisia.
Yeah, Remind's completely overextended there. He spotted the bomb, and he's ran past it and died. So the bomb just gets picked up and planted, because they know Fallas is towards B. Remind, all he has to do is just sit and wait. Second mid play or something of the sort, he can just hold from range. But now he's really given an opportunity over towards Tura here. Already got a kill to his name, of course, that being Remind. The bomb planter, he's playing a very unorthodox position. Fallas might just completely overlook this. Tura's holding on the cross. She'll get caught, and he will. Tura sees off the half. I think that's completely thrown there by Remind. He does not need to peek, does not need to fight. Overextends, and it gives it away.
Yeah, and again, I think that's that confidence kind of like running away with Tunisia as a whole. One of those things that, if you want to do some post-match analysis for the team as a whole, you'd sit them down and you'd say, hey, these are some of the rounds that we have to remind ourselves to find a way to say, let's not do that, because it isn't worth it. But that comes with time. You do it enough, and you've got some you know, a coach or a manager of the team or something that can kind of like say, all right, listen, we make it to Riyadh, let's try not to lose rounds like that because it's not worth it.
Because Counter-Strike's a game of percentages, right? Ultimately, and I think, you know, in that instance, you've got, right, I've got a very good chance of getting a kill here, but also a small chance of falling, or I've got a 0% chance of falling if I just hold, and a 100% chance of a kill, but I have to wait 30 seconds. So it's about patience and discipline, something which sometimes can elude those here and there. So it's small things. I think you're spot on. Shackles, nice shot for him. We'll find Chadonj. We start things off. Shackles going to get a second as well. He's shutting things down from Pit, and he is happy to fight, looking for more. A couple of scouts want to be collected. The third, nearly there as well. They'll get it. They go for the knife remind, and it will cost him his life. Flawless finally gets the trade, but Shackles, job done. 3 kills.
I think he ran out of bullets there. There's actually a way to win the round, though. Like, the bomb's planted. They've got 2 people with Glocks. Glocks in CS2, super powerful right now. And, yeah, they're in a kind of a dug-in position, so this is winnable all of a sudden here. We'll see if the CTs can go for a bit of a retake. It's very important for Namibia to actually get this round. Fallas, good headshot there. Another one just absolutely straight deletes Tura. And Pote coming in from the other side is looking for it. Kazi's dropped low already, and the bomb is ticking in front here. Oh, Pote, he can't actually find it. That's crazy. They're looking for the bomb. You got to be on it right now. There we go. All right, a little bit scary, but it should have time for it. That is a close round. 2 versus 4, but Namibia, they pick it up. It's a very important round.
Exactly. I mean, it's a big sigh of relief. I think Shackles was really, really well. 3 kills to his name, uber important to kind of keep them in a conversation there. But a 2v4, which goes down to a 1 versus 1, is in itself a little bit inherently worrying. And of course, a bomb plant with those kills will absolutely mean Tunisia force buying towards the next. It'd be so surprising if they don't. Galil's, Mac-10s have a decent amount of Utah on the belt as well, so they'll be in an absolutely fine position to make this work for them. The question is now, though, is how we're going to make this a bit of a consistent factor. Can we get consecutive rounds for Namibia? They're the big things we're looking at, because that's something that slightly eluded them in that first half. They were having these flash in the pan sort of rounds, but the lack of consistency, as we kind of saw, really hurt their economy. It was forced buy-in, lose around, no bomb plant, and eco, and then rinse and repeat. They've got to find a way to build up just a little bit of stability.
Yeah, I'm so curious how this is going to be playing out. It looks like Tunisia already just cracking on through, taking that banana position and straight into the bomb site. So not the greatest news here for Namibia.
I just say.
Yeah, this is it's one of those things, right, where, again, if you were playing the percentages, you'd probably say, actually, we're not going to be able to win this round, but we'll see. First kill, probably going to convince them that now is the time for it, but this is very likely the outcome. Like, Inferno's notorious for having both bomb sites. It's very hard to retake them.
Yeah.
No surprise, I think.
Yeah, B-site, especially of Inferno, is so difficult to retake because you're so confined. There's so little space in a sense, and it's so difficult to fight your way back in. No, we're going to try and save this FAMAS. I mean, I don't even know. They're getting pretty close to the hunt, in all fairness. He might actually get caught, but he might actually have just slipped the net. Somehow perfectly. They come from long, they come from short, and he just perfectly finds this gap. So the FAMAS will be kept alive at the very least, but it is going to be Tunisia taking a round and very quickly responding off the back of a lost pistol with a 1 force buy. That's all you can really ask for. And it will mean that Namibia now have a bit of a tough spot to kind of be putting themselves. They're in double eco, so they have to force. There's no twist about it. There's no point saving here because you're going to be ecoing in the next round afterwards. So you have to buy around this saved FAMAS, but it's a really awkward buy. We're talking, I mean, at least for now, 5.7's P250. Tough spot that they're putting. And even Utah, a little slim bar nowhere, of course, who had just saved his. Let's see what they've got. Bit of information spotted in towards second mid, but already this feels like Tunisia could be on track to taking this map.
Yeah, it's right there in front of them, right? I mean, especially with the economy being low on the Namibian side, all you really need is, like, you know, to win the 1 critical round where they actually will have guns, and you're probably going to make your way through. So we pretty much have, I think, like 1.5 chances here in Namibia to put an end to it. Shackle's in a good position. 5.7 always dangerous at close range, and this is why. Second headshot to take down. Mateus really sick, and the rest of them, they're going to be trying to push into the B-bomb side. It looks like they still have Chadonj on the other side who's trying to catch Shackles over there. Nowhere to go down, and there's still a minute left, so they can get back into this one, no question. Chadonj very patient out here. He knows that there's a player down here somewhere. If you get the kill for free, it's on. The bomb has been picked up now. 2 versus 4, but again, this round is not over for Tunisia. You've got to be really careful.
No, that's for sure. I mean, so far, the 3 casualties that have come through from Tunisia, nobody was there to trade them. They're all isolated, right?
Yeah.
Every single fight taken one by one. So it has allowed for these pistols to overwhelm. Falas went for a flank there, gets one, just doesn't expect the second. I can understand that, but Potai and Wriggler getting caught like that by the 5-7 on the drive-by is dicey. Speaking of the 5-7, maybe more for Shackles. Had a 3K in the pistol, got a 3K now with this 5-7. He looks for 4, and Shackles will shut it down. 5-7, never underestimate this gun. 1 bullet headshot, no matter if you have head armor, it will make your life hell. And Shackles shows why. Beautiful round. And that's a perfect way to respond off the back of the force by Lost, is to win one of your own.
Yeah, that is sick. Those are the kind of rounds that really also changes like the chemistry in the team. Like if everyone's a little bit like, oh guys, we're kind of losing, it's not looking that great. That kind of round you think, all right, like let's get fired up. We want to make something of this. Like we had a guy just had a sick round.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we build on it. And they really can, right? If they win this next round, then the money's going to be gone for Tunisia. Suddenly, it'll be about 8 rounds for Namibia, and it's kind of a wide-open game. So there's something to play for here. Remind, though, trying to make that a little bit tricky. He's going to get the retake there, or the refrag to take down the player in middle. Nowhere, overwhelmed. There's a lot of people coming for him. Remind activated. We talked about him earlier. Again, we haven't said his name too much here.
Yeah.
But we know he's got the caliber. Inside of the bomb site is Tura with no real backup, and Remind is just not going to be stopped this round. 3 kills.
Yeah.
Such a demon.
Yeah, they just barrel in towards the A side, don't they? And I think now, for Shackles, for Kazi, just keep on what you've got. There's no real point. And even that might be a tall order. Potai, he smells blood in the water. Oh my god, there is no way. He just doesn't look at him. He doesn't kind of clear the close left. I mean, it's a bit of an unorthodox angle, so I'll say I can sort of understand it. I've been there before, but that's unfortunate.
Depending on the resolution, he might...
Yeah, if it's 4-3, we won't see him.
Yeah. Like, I think at our resolution, we could just see the tip of the gun, but... yeah, he might not have been able to, or he might just not have been looking at that way. That'll happen. They're still going to win the round. They'll be quite happy with it. Like I said, they would have saved otherwise here, Tunisia. So they're kind of a little bit fortunate to get out of this round.
Yeah. And it will, of course, mean for Tunisia locking in double digits now on their opponent's map pick. Not too bad. Of course, Inferno, Dust 2, and Anubis, our 3 maps. Dust 2 up next, Tunisia's pick. If they take this map of Inferno, and Anubis might not even be needed as a decider. We know they were very good on it in the qualifier. And so far, so good. They got a 4-round buffer zone over Namibia, 3 rounds away from taking the map itself, inching ever closer. And a sort of a 1 round like that is going to put a lot more pressure again on towards Namibia. They sort of, I think, have to go for a buy. This is the awkward thing. It's the force buy wars at the moment. Back and forth, and you just got to keep going for it. I think that's the way to go. And at least now for Namibia, they have a little bit better firepower to work with. AK saved, M4 invested in, MP9s alongside it. It's not the worst buy in the world.
No.
Especially considering you'll know that in some way you're going to have some sort of SMG or some sort of Galil that they saved from that previous round.
And I mean, on Inferno, right, there are so many close-range fights that... You know, the MP9, yeah, it's not as good as if it was an M4, but you can make it work. You can definitely do a lot of damage with it, so not necessarily the end of the world. 4-round gap here between the two of them. And some of these next rounds are going to be so important. Namibia struggling to get a real foothold in the game, right? Like, they need a round here where Tunisia are really saving, and they can really, like, get a little bit of, like, a sigh of relief and say, okay, like, we've got a bit of a platform here to work with. Not the case at the moment, so we'll see if they can carve one out for themselves. Nice opening for Remind, but he will get traded immediately. Shackle stepping up as quite the formidable force here on the Namibian side.
True. Nowhere. Playing anti. As the support of Zev. Zev takes first contact. Nowhere behind it, but Wriggler gets the first. Zev will trade. He'll double it down as well before Jonjo will trade. 2 versus 2. Firepower just a little bit better over towards likes of Tunisia, and they're going to start barreling in towards the A site all alone here. Tura, what have you got for us? MP9 up close, does get caught. Potai swings and clears. Site open, bomb down, 1v2, and Shackles, a lot of pressure on a guy who has bailed Namibia out time and time again in this game.
He's got the kit, but he's just got no utilities. It's very hard to set himself up for anything here. Grenade going to be around the corner. Damage not really going to be important here, but... yeah, he would be sick if he'd had a Molotov or a flashbang or something to set himself up for this first fight, because having to just swing their corner and just hope you get the first kill is...
wow.
Shadonj, I don't think he realized how open he was. Shackles comes in. That is sick. A 1 versus 2. He'll take the round and keep Namibia alive. That's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by the setup. Back completely exposed to long, and the smoke's faded as well. Normally, if the smoke fades, you're sort of relaying over that information. Just be careful a little bit. But I probably just didn't even realize just that little bit of his back showing. And I mean, to heal 4, then Potai only had 1 point of HP, so he was sort of already 1 foot in the grave, unfortunately. Really good clutch coming through from Shackles. And like we said, time and time again, has been bailing this side out of bad situations. 3K in the pistol, 4K in the 4-spy, and now a 1v2 clutch. So he is stepping up in a big way. Yeah,
if you wanted to criticize the Tunisian afterplant, you would say typically you want one person in pit and one at the site. For the crossfire, they don't have that, and that's, it kind of backfires a little bit on them there. All right. An investment into this round for Tunisia, but they're getting nothing for it right now. Shut down for the smoke. They had the Tech 9s and the Mac 10, so they could have done some damage if they could have made their way through, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen at the moment. Namibia closing the gap slowly. You know, this is very cool because some of the teams that were playing in the qualifier, like I think Nigeria and Ghana, definitely showing that in terms of Counter-Strike experience, there's just a huge gap between, let's say, them and Tunisia and Egypt or whatever. But I think Namibia is starting, there's something to build on here, right? Like, these guys definitely know how to play Counter-Strike. You keep coming back and the region keeps growing. Like, there's something that's interesting that's happening here. I think that's very cool to see, all on its own, right? And I mean, at this stage, honestly, they could win the map if they keep going like this. So, I just think it's very exciting.
It is actually quite an interesting spot that we're in now, right? Because we've got Tunisia, they've half bought this. They're going to fall by next. If Namibia win their next round, we're talking about them probably actually getting to the spot or maybe even tying this game up. And at that point, things then get very, very interesting. We're then talking about probably maybe even like a 10-9, potentially even tying this game up. So it's a very interesting spot that we kind of find ourselves in right now where the pressure is ultimately on Tunisia. Fighting towards pit. No, we'll get one. Tura going to get a second off the back of it as well. And a shutdown towards the A site. Namibia making a 2-round game. And this now does get very interesting. We will see a buy coming through in some regards. Somebody's going to have to take a hit. I'm looking like it'll probably be Remind on 3K. But we will see some sort of a force buy in a sense. But lose that. And the game's probably tied up 10-0. And then that's when Namibia can start to talk about actually taking this map.
Yeah, I think that they're doing a really good job right now. Like, they're doing everything they need to. You keep shutting it down. If you can deny some of it's the same thing right now for Tunisia as it was for Namibia in the first half. Yeah. You need top mid and banana control to execute strategies. We know Tunisia from the other maps, I'm sure they're going to have like real executes where you set up a banana, you throw the right Molotovs and the smokes towards coffins and all the rest. Like, I'm sure they know all of those things, but if you don't get the control for it, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't execute the strategy. So, yeah, if you can keep denying that, you're stopping them really early on. Quick little tech pause here to sort out a couple of issues before we get back into it, which is fine.
All right.
Seems happy. He's in a good mood.
Yeah, just double checking with the fellas. Does this look right to you guys? And then we'll get things back underway.
Yeah.
But it's a good spot they're in right now, of course. For Namibia, we're having a bit of a conversation with the team, just sort of explaining what he wants to see coming through in towards the next. But so far, so good. We've enjoyed what we've seen from Namibia in these last few rounds.
Absolutely.
And you can really see how things have been quite interesting. Shackles there at the top. For us, I mean, he has been lights out in a couple of these rounds. Without him, Namibia actually might not even be in this conversation.
Yeah, I think without him, like they end up losing this already. Pretty sick stuff. I've got to say, like and I mean, this is I think it's part of the joy of these IESF events is that you really do get to kind of like go and spot out local talent you'd never normally get to see. Like,
for sure.
You know, like obviously far away from like the tier 1 stages in that sense. Yeah. But having this experience and bringing it back to your country and like inspiring other people, say like there's a way to do it. Like we can actually go and play and qualify and represent our country. I think that's beautiful. Shackle's definitely coming out with that kind of light at the moment. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's true. Seems like Issue just getting Kazi back in the server, hopefully briefly, and then we can get him back underway. But yeah, so far so good. It's been a good game as well.
Yeah, having no real read on what Namibia might play like, I've got to be honest, for me so far, like I thought it was going to be a super one-sided game for like Tunisia, essentially steamrolling them.
Yeah.
That was kind of what I expected. So the fact that it's not happening and Namibia are putting up a really good fight is really sick. Like,
Yeah,
well
true.
played.
Exactly, and now it does set up the series kind of interestingly. In a sense, Dust 2 does play inherently very similar towards Inferno. It's quite puggy. It's all about certain areas of control, and then moving off the back of that, moving off the back of early bits of information or opening kills or this, that, and the other. So I think in that sense, they're able to make a competitive Inferno. You'd expect them to have some sort of a competitive understanding of Dust 2 as well. And even though Tunisia were very good on that in the qualifier, and it is definitely one of their pocket pick maps that we talk about, Nuke, Dust 2 were the two in particular that they played in the quals that were pretty lights out for them, and who basically whatever anybody else picked against them, they still managed to get a win on it. But this is where Namibia now have a chance to actually really make a conversation in this series. Nobody's been able to beat Tunisia yet, and so far they look like one of the closer sides.
So curious, how it's going to unfold for the African region in the future, right? Like, like obviously we're in Morocco now, the host country. They've been treating us super well. It's been awesome experience, I would say.
Yeah.
But into future years, like, it'd be really interesting to see, if we're going to sort of, rotate around. And you just get to experience different places. My first time in Africa, so I think it's very cool. Like I'm excited to like now I kind of want to see more of it. Like let's explore.
Trying to say I'm trying to like lightly nudge and say hey like
I know like you've got a bias.
Being South African myself, I'd love to have a regional qualifier in South Africa. Go back home. I'm from Joburg, so it'd be kind of cool to go back home. Most of our family still live out there as well, and they do actually have a pretty good esports scene in South Africa as well. And Joburg in particular has a couple of lands there, so. It would actually be pretty cool, but obviously so far away in comparison.
Funnily enough, there's more South Africans than people realize in the esports scene in general. It's kind of funny to you keep running into people. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So yeah, why not? Again, strengthen the local scene.
Yeah.
Get more infrastructure. Get more involvement in it. I think that's kind of the promise for the future. It's really cool.
Yeah.
2-round gap as we get back into the game here. Tunisia. They still have a bit of a lead, but Namibia stronger than we expected. We'll see what they could do right now. They've got the AK, 1 MP9 there on tours, a little bit of a downgrade, but Tunisia, now they actually are getting the map control that we were talking about, right? So they have the potential here for top banana, top mid. We'll see if they can execute something. They don't have a lot of grenades in this round, but enough to make something happen.
Yeah, 3 were playing out towards B early for Namibia, and a lot of that was coming off the back of just the in case it was a rush, right? Because there's a world in which this could have been more of like a full Mac 10 buy and a little bit of a weirder one.
Oh, it's going to be an interesting test to see if Tunisia know the smoke that lands on the ledge here to stop to like.
Yeah, they actually missed it earlier.
Okay.
So they were throwing the default one on the fly here. They missed it earlier and landed on the roof.
Okay.
So maybe someone else knows it a little bit better. Maybe it was just like they were dead earlier and that's why. But we'll see. But if they don't, they could be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, because without that, the boost can be super powerful, right? Got a player inside. Let's see. Oh, it does land on top. So again, that tells you something about the level of prep here for Tunisia and kind of what they're all about. So very cool. Jadonj with a cracking opening, taking down Kazi. That in itself is like you're half the way to winning the round when you get that kind of a kill. 10 seconds, and the bomb has actually been planted a little bit in the open. That is scary if someone was to spray him down, but they make it out, and they have a good chance of winning this one. I say that though, but Noah actually gets a very early kill. Tunisia, this afterplant, again, it's the B bomb site. They're still in a good position to win it, but there is a chance for Namibia to get back in here.
Yeah, numbers advantage here for the CT side, making a move. They've got a bit of time. They've got kits as well. Dink on towards a dark player, swing and a find by Wriggler. What a shot. They're waiting for Remind to peek, but he's not giving them anything. On the swing, he can line them up and mows them down. Looks for a third. Falaise will see it off, and it will be Tunisia finding yet another round. Numbers disadvantage post-plant, and Tunisia make it work. That's really, really well played.
Yeah, there's so many little things where you can just tell that the communication and the prep, like the smoke up on the boost is one thing. And I think the other thing here, you could see Remind is only holding the one angle because he knows his teammates have got the crossfire from the other side. So nobody can swing and shoot Remind in the back, so he just has one job, and that's all he cares about. And but that takes a little bit of communication, right? Like you have to tell your teammates, like, listen, I need you to watch the other side of the fountain all the time. Like, just keep an eye on that. If they swing you, I will definitely get the refrag, so don't worry about it.
It's also just really great discipline because there's always, he's hearing Coffin's information, right? He hears steps. He knows there's something going on there. They've already fought from there as well. So part of you is like, oh, let me just take a peek. Let me have a little fight. But they were holding for him. And the fact that he doesn't peek probably wins him the round. If he falls, they just double swing towards dark. Both dead. Round done. Let's change things up. Jadonj, another opening kill for him. Looks for a second, they don't get it. Alongside the support of Potai, that's already a 3-for-1 in the early fights.
Yeah, they've overlooked Sev here, but we'll see for how long that lasts. Oh, not really the greatest spray, but he's going to get the kill. He's very low and going to get shot at the back at range there from Fallas, so it'll be Shackles alone. And again, we've had to rely on him a lot for Namibia.
Yeah.
This is a whole new level of difficulty. Like 1 versus 3, the bomb is going to be planted. I don't think there's a kit on the ground. I mean, you could justify saving the M4, and like they don't have any money. You could. That wouldn't be a bad choice here to just say, okay, we're going to have one more crack at getting into overtime.
I honestly think this is the best call. Just keep hold of what you've got. I don't really think there's too much of a point of giving this a go, if I'm being completely honest. We don't really have the money to work with in towards the next round. We're actually going to struggle in terms of picking up any premium rifles regardless. Let's save an M4. Let's keep you alive. At least with then, you keep alive. We've got a little bit of loss bonus. You can drop something over, like maybe the likes of Famas, and then it's not the worst thing in the world. But it is going to be Tunisia. Map point on their opponent's map pick. And Namibia backs up against the wall here. They've got to try and dig deep. They're now playing for overtime. They've got 4 rounds being that buffer to try and get there. Not going to be easy, and that's safe to say. Tunisia very, very close to the finish line on map number 1. And of course, heading in towards their map pick of Dust 2 with a hell of a lot of confidence on their shoulders. Namibia, time is dwindling in this one. I'm interested to see how they try and squeeze out a feasible buy, and for the most part it won't be, right? They're going to have to dip in towards either upgraded pistols or SMGs at the very best.
Yeah.
So the issue is now, how do we actually change it up? You basically can't play a default here. This is how I look at it anyway. More often than not, if you play a default on a low or weird half buy like this, you're just going to lose in terms of firepower, in terms of util. They're going to barrage you with nades, they're going to barrage you with Molotovs, and you're just going to lose your Angels, right? You've got to try and get a bit proactive. You've got to try and get up in their face and catch them off guard. For me, that's the way to try and put Tunisia on the back foot. Sort of fight fire with fire in terms of their aggression. Yeah,
and typically you're going to be lacking grenades too, so like playing that kind of a default, like the default involves grenades, that slows down everything. You don't have them, then you've got to come up with something else. So I don't disagree. Like, try and take a couple of risks. I think it's worth it. You know, you get the right flashbang on the corner, you get a couple of kills, suddenly the round is more manageable. So it's probably worth it to try and do that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like you've just got to gamble in some way. Molotov down. Shackles wants to fight behind it as well. Of course, the only rifle to work with for Namibia in this round. He's got to hope that something will work out for him. P9 playing behind it. Zeph will get the first. Hang on a second now. Maybe something could be on. Jadonj will get one of his own. Did hear a second, but nowhere. With him being low, 1 point of HP, doesn't really want to overfight.
But I like this. They know how many people were there, so they're pushing Banana at the same time. Tunisia, they're saying, all right, if you're battling a bunch of people over in the apartments, then maybe we just, you know, try and take this control here. Shackles is in the back. Again, it's on his shoulders. To try and win the map here or get back into it, he has to get a huge, probably even a triple kill maybe to stay in it. And it was very hard. Molotov perfectly placed for Tunisia. Good execute. Everything is pretty much on track here for them to win the map. They just need this bomb to go off and they're going to be good. And a re-smoke into this one, I mean, it's making life a hell of a lot more difficult. Fallas will go down, but this is a far away from being a retake.
Yeah, 2v2. Numbers even, but yeah, like you said, I mean, damage being dealt over towards Zeph, which makes him very vulnerable indeed. Fading out the smoke. In this position, they've got a bit of time to work with. The only issue is that I'm seeing no kit, right? So this is going to make this difficult. They've got to make a move. They don't have a smoke for the bomb. They don't win out the first fight. Zeph will trade. Well, he's actually got to get on this bomb, and Potai's just playing time, and even that HE could be enough. He actually doesn't need to be. Swing and a find, and Potai will see it off. Tunisia 13-8. They must find just a little bit more confidence where they are the ones setting the tone, and they're the ones who dictate sort of the pace of the game. Xbox smoke going to come out.
Wow, look at this push.
Already gets a lot of information here. All 4.
That's 4 people committed to pushing this, but you know they're making a lot of noise and they're not ready for this. Oh god, it's almost the perfect anti-strat to deal with it. A little bit of a lineup here from Fallas. Oh, he lands some sick headshots. We'll bring down a couple of players. The bomb is dropped as well. But Tay, if you win this one, maybe there is a chance here. He's going to get the one, and now it's all down to Seth. 1 versus 2, straight banging Glock shots coming out. And now 1 versus 1 against Remind. But again, the bomb is right there. So Remind pretty much knows that he's going to have to show up. Glock versus USP. And Remind struggling a little bit. He'll get the shot eventually. But man, that was such a sick setup for Namibia that looked like they should have been able to win that one. Yeah,
it feels like that's like a real set play from Tunisia. They've read into something there. They know something's going to happen. 4 players playing out towards B nice and early. Really, really well done. And the first fight maybe is more of kind of a shock factor. You get caught, oh god, they're all there. But it actually works out well for them. They drive by USP, gets a double, and then they set the tone quite nicely. So all in all, great round to be taken from Tunisia, of course. And now maybe where things can start to, again, on the other side, we have to look at potentially how we're going to respond in kind. Awkwardly, though, we can't really buy. We didn't really get enough kills. We didn't get a bomb on, so we can't really buy here on the T side for Namibia. So they've kind of just got to accept this and say, we're going to go 2-0 down. We just have to sort of give this up, and that's that.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not much else they can do. Fallacy, like those shots just... That made a difference.
Yeah.
I think without that, probably a bomb plant right away for Namibia, and they're in a better position. Here we go, though. Second round coming up. We are headed out long. They got a couple of flashes. I think they got a Tech-9 to kind of lead the charge. Probably about the best they could do right now. And actually, they'll be very successful. Couple of kills. Still, I would say, very winnable round here for Tunisia. But yeah, one more kill the other way. And you never really know. Without the lack of armor on that side, it's not easy to power through.
Oh, nade banks back. That's awkward for Kazi. If that nade had gone down, it probably does a good chunk of damage towards both of them. But it just catches a little bit of clipping. I'll come back and bounce his way and put him under quite a bit of pressure. Shackles nowhere. Left with it all through, and now it's just nowhere. The man who's been the most vocal on this team, been really leading a lot of these conversations, only had a Glock, though, asking just a little bit too much. 2-0 Tunisia. And only 2 casualties as well. Not the worst thing in the world, if we're being completely honest. Namibia, though, they will come in towards a 4 by now, and they'll understand that on the other side, for Tunisia, it will just be a bonus. So we're not really expecting a hell of a lot here in the sense of winning it would be massive. Winning a bonus round like this, percentage-wise, is definitely against you. But if you can make it expensive, it keeps a lot of pressure on towards your opponent. If you are to take it, really puts them under, a hell of a lot of pressure to maybe try and turn things around. Shackles, though, for the opener.
Yeah, not necessarily an easy shot there. I think it was Pate running down the middle with an MP9, so he's going to be like very, very mobile back and forth there. But he's proving again that he knows what he's doing. Could be dead here, though. Not always easy to win this fight from Remind's position. Like, it can be very awkward because the T's can duck down, but a very nice shot. Brings it back and puts a little bit of danger towards Namibia again. 4 versus 4, but you're right. If they lose this round, it's a really, really good start for Tunisia, and they'll take it. Remind setting himself up to be flashed in. Back turn, just straight in there. Good flashbang, but he just ducks into the corner. Chura stays alive somehow.
Yes, somehow, some way. Had no way in for support who doesn't get caught by that flash, but Chura is so lucky. His pathing is just perfect to exit out of there and straight in towards the crossfire set up by his teammate. Actually, a beautiful reaction to being flashed as well. Unfortunately, now for Tunisia, a bit of an awkward spot that they're in. Trying to pull things sort of back in their favour. Numbers is advantage. Flash will come round. Chidonji will avoid it. We'll get one. Still alive as well. Gets shredded out by nowhere. Leaving all down to Wriggler. MP9 for him. And it doesn't look like they want to go in his directions. He's got a long rotate and a tough retake up on the cards. But he does have a bit of util. And now an AK. All right, it's not impossible. AK kit, full battle util. It's not the worst time for a 1v3, especially 1 being tagged. But then he's met with a Molotov just to make it more awkward.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that might make you change your mind a little bit and say, all right, you know what, it's not really worth it. Wow. I mean, that flashbang, the setup is so good, right? Those are the kind of, little things you sort of set up along the way, but it kind of, again, proves they got some confidence. That's nice for Tunisia. That should have probably worked. Like, if he gets that kill and gets away, they probably win the round.
Yeah.
So, close round in some sense, but this time Namibia come out on top. Well played.
Yeah, really well done. And it will be now as well an interesting conversation to see how Tunisia now responding towards the next. Because they have taken some decent investments in towards this round. I mean, Fala's as well of a lot of money. So he's probably going to have to either take a drop from Wriggler or just take a little bit worse supply. But they should buy into this, but it's just a case of what are we actually going to bring to the table. And this is a prime opportunity now where Namibia can put a lot of pressure on, take even by tying this game up, if not a lead. And this is the exact thing Tunisia did in map 1. Things started well for Namibia, got a 2-0 start, but then because of these awkward force buys that you don't really get a choice, you have to go into them, you lose them, and it does put you under a lot of pressure. Things started well, of course, Remind found a big kill there for him, but it's just this one here where, I mean, you can't even really sort of expect that second player up towards the boxes. There's no way you would have thought that would have been a possibility. But you see a bite coming out from Tunisia. 2 premium rifles, 1 AK save, 1 M4, and a FAMAS behind it, and then unfortunately, just a Deagle for Fales. You only have 1.7k, so that's as much as he can bring to the table.
Yeah, I think at a tier 1 level, you would probably very rarely see a player try to chase down a kill after a flashbang. Like sometimes, if you don't almost instantly get it, it's better to just get away because like the chances that you get killed instead increase like almost every millisecond after that. But again, like it was such a good flash. I don't blame him necessarily for trying to hunt it down. Like it seemed like it was a very available kill.
Yeah, it's very true. Remind now, Famas in hands for him. Tempted by more of the same. Spot him on the cross as well, just a pixel, but enough for him to relay that information over. Short play is going to be held for by Wrigley. I mean, this is a big find. If he can get one here, gives him a chance. They comes over, but a little late.
Yeah, grenade doesn't necessarily do that much. Or maybe a little bit of shackles, actually. I thought in the online qualifier, Wrigley was one of the guys that we kind of highlighted a little bit.
Yeah.
He's been playing well throughout the tournament so far, but it'd be fun to see him in the driving seat. Kind of, flexing a little bit more. Remind, really thinking about testing that smoke. He's right at the edge, but they knew that. Seth really holding the angle. That's super important. And now, Shadonj, I don't think he can do anything here with the MP9 at that range. Like, he should be dead every time, although shooting him in the back a little bit. Wriggler nearly saving the round there. That could have been sick, and Shadonj actually doing a fine job. Somehow it's a 2 versus 2, and you probably want to go for this if you're Tunisia. You're going to feel like we can do this. Maybe
a chance here as well, right? This is absolutely a winnable round. The only issue for them, one bit of util left, just a Molotov to work with. Now picked up a nade, though, in all fairness. Does make it a little bit more possible. That's right-hand side. They're burning in that flame. Hang on a second. Zeph has somehow avoided the flames. He did take a little bit of a tag. Do they know he's there? They must know. They spotted him, and they've dropped him. A flawless retake coming through from Tunisia on that CT side, and that is pretty commendable. The B side of Dust 2 is statistically the hardest site to retake in competitive Counter-Strike, and that's not even just including the current map pool. That's every competitive map pool that we've had. It is the hardest site to retake, and they've made that look flawless, so really well done from them. Molotov comes over, a little bit of tick damage, but he does actually avoid it somehow. It doesn't spread in towards that corner. First fight back box is really clean, and then they realize, actually, we did hear him tick. Maybe he somehow found a gap. A good clearance and a good find.
That's super crazy. Like, I think the Molotov actually stops Seth from being able to help out his teammate, right? Like, he's locked in that corner. So, I mean, I guess he could have backtracked and ran through the Molotov, but that would have been super dangerous. So, yeah, just really unfortunate here. And a good to make sure, really double-check the corner. They might have heard him burn, so they might have had an idea. But regardless, that's a huge round. Great retake. Tunisia, 3-1, and it really blows out the economy of the Namibian side here.
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
in trouble.
Looks like a little bit of a buy, maybe.
Yeah,
just a couple of good pistols. I mean, they've got plenty of money to sort of semi-half buy this and then buy next. I think the main thing, though, is keeping money on deck to potentially have the ult for nowhere. Looks like, I think Shackles of 3K might be okay, but we did see, of course, them like that team's orping in towards the previous. Shackles for the first, Bowtie will trade. With these pistols, a bomb plant, some kills would be nice, and trading 1-for-1's not exactly terrible. Tunisia slightly overfighting here, and it's giving them kills, but Kazi just caught. Didn't really understand. Pants around his ankles. Remind gets a double. They drops the bomb as well, and surely now the round. Namibia left down to 1, and Zeph collected an AK, but got it all to do.
It's kind of a crazy round in many ways for Tunisia. This is probably one of those like slight bullying tactics where you say, let's really like overwhelm them. Really make sure they don't feel comfortable here.
Yeah.
That can backfire. Like, that's the kind of round that can absolutely backfire. You push it up a dark like that, you lose a couple of players, suddenly the bomb is planted. Like, it can go the other way. So, I don't necessarily hate it, but it is it's a little bit risky, potentially.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely the other side as well where a Tech9 can get a double, and it really throws things kind of up in the air, right? Picks up a rifle. Who knows what can happen there? We saw it happen just once until that previous map where these overextensions cost us here against the low buy.
Yeah.
They didn't end up losing that round. It was a 2 versus 4, which then ended up going down to 1 versus 1, and the low buy converted. So we've seen it happen once. It does worry us a little bit, but in this case, thankfully, not to be. Nade on towards that smoke. Won't spot the cat cross. Will be. He's relaying the information. Shackle's going to get that first. Finds Remind. That's an important kill. Smoke as well to give them that lurk out from short. They can start making a bit of a move. The short molly might get extinguished.
Okay, going back into it. There's a lot of players on the other side, but he's done great work so far. Nowhere probably could have been dead as well. He's very low on health to begin with. He's going to lose his teammate Tura behind him, and Shadonj. That might be enough to win the round right then and there. I thought Pate was... Like, he had a fight that was happening at so many different angles in the middle that could be very hard to control, but great job. The bomb is lost in the middle, so Kazi, it's a kind of round where if you have the bomb on your back, like chances that you win it go way up. But having to backtrack to the middle to pick it up, not really doable. Tunisia back. I mean, they're playing a hard game at the start here. You could tell they're very aggressive.
Yeah, and we saw this in the qualifiers. We sort of knew what to expect with Tunisia, and it's just how do you respond to it. And one thing we did see as a response yesterday from, well, not yesterday, the day before, from Morocco was actually they play very passive in terms of the early parts. No matter whether you're on the T side or the CT side, and allow sort of this Tunisian side to fight you, give them sort of the space and let them overextend. And it did actually work in quite a few times, hence why that game went to quad overtime. The only issue is, though, for Namibia, we haven't seen that reaction just yet, where they've really tried to slow things down and really tried to kind of bait in the fights. And maybe this is it. The only issue is, though, they've done it now, smoked down towards deep upper tunnels where they await for the fight. And for Tunisia, they're more than happy just to force them in towards these fights. This is such a chokehold.
Yeah, and it keeps putting on so much pressure, right? Like, you're not feeling comfortable at all on the T side here. See what Fallas can do. Funnily enough, he's kind of on his own, but might be able to get a 6 spray down. Team kill. Yeah, I mean, that looked like it was the perfect setup for Fallas just to get every single kill, but not quite. They still should be winning the round here. I don't think they're going to be able to make their way through, and indeed, another round. Only one casualty on the Tunisian side, so this is setting quite a harsh tone at the start of the game, where they're really not allowing Namibia to get into this map at all.
Yeah, if they were a little bit quicker, I think the T side, they actually could have got on towards the site, because the Molotov gets thrown by the rotating mid player, but he misses it, hits the door, so actually stops them getting in towards the site. It was a CT molly there, but if they were maybe a little bit quicker, potentially they could have overwhelmed that guy who dropped out from window, but in the end, it was probably never going to get off the ground. They were playing upgraded pistols and sort of half armor at the very most, so unlikely to say the least. Potai wants to fight early in towards long. This is the first two. He could be in a bit of trouble, but he's given the luxury of falling away. Normally, off the back of the second miss shot, absolutely you'd normally hunt that. Our player, Molotov should force out the fight here. Potai could be in a bit of trouble.
I think it's
it doesn't spread deep enough. Yeah, so he's got a great angle. And he will get the first. Zeph gets caught, and Potai happy to fight.
And the problem is now you might stop thinking about the car. Like, if you're just a little bit distracted, you might not be remembering this part, and that would be deadly. Tura goes down. Now they're kind of locked into long a little bit here, jump around. I don't know if they spotted anything, but you can shoot right through this car. So Fallas, he is a little bit exposed, but they're not thinking about it any longer. Kind of messes up the first kill, but at the end of the day, it will be fine here. Shackles, 1 versus 5, and he's already low on health. The bomb is even worse out back long there. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a classic setup where if you kind of half Molotov a position, then you forget about it. You think, oh, it's probably okay, but if there's a player hiding, it can really backfire. Yeah,
that's what happened. So, I mean, Tunisia so far so good. There's very, very little we can complain about from Tunisia at the moment. Really great Counter-Strike being played by them. I really wouldn't mind seeing a bit of attack pools come through from Namibia, and that's actually what we might be having right now, actually. A bit of a time to have a conversation, just trying to slow it down, because the issue is you want to try and ice out your opponent. You don't want to let them snowball, which is the issue that we're having now. Tunisia are snowballing so positively. 7-1 scoreline. They're making light work of this. And this happened as well against their game of Morocco. Very close map number 1 where they're sort of waking up, but then anything but on map number 2. Potai going to get a couple as well. Monovic catching them just on the edge of that smoke, but Kazi will get one of his own, and the bomb goes down.
Okay, that makes it a bit interesting. Fallas, I think, moving forward through the Molotov. That's a bit, again, like, you want to wait for your teammates here. No reason, you're not under that much stress. Kazi can't really get the AK out in time, and nowhere, he's definitely going to be dead here. There's just not the angle for it for the MAC-10. He couldn't really escape. So yeah, again, like, the confidence is not really in short supply for Tunisia.
Yeah.
I would say Fallas pushing in like that, it's the kind of play that can open up a chance for Namibia to win the round, but ultimately, yeah, they just look unstoppable right now on the CT side. It's really impressive.
That Molotov as well, that's thrown by Kazi, he throws it on towards CT, needs to be thrown short here, right? Because the CT angle is one in which you can sort of give them coverage to come out from, because there's so many different ways you can sort of jiggle peek without overcommitting. Short, though, if they swing out, you are dead, more often than not, especially if they've got the numbers behind it. So that's what that Molotov needs to be going. CT, you can sort of give them that control. It's such a difficult place to fight from below fighting up, so they always have to go for a long rotate. Bomb was planted, time was ticking, etc. These small things are costing Namibia now 8-1. This is a dominant first half being set by the Tunisian side. But of course, back in for Namibia on this T side, but things could be awkward. I'm pretty sure Potai, the AWP, did spot him. Yeah, taking a couple of pop shots, hoping Not to be so far. Remind playing anti. Spam going back and forth. Both sides taking a little bit of damage. Mind here is just his insurance policy. But Potai will fall. And Alt was playing aggro out towards long and he gets caught.
Yeah, Shackles again, just opening up absolutely everything. That's really sick. They have so much money on the Tunisian side that they might think about just doing this anyway. Obviously, 5 versus 3, the bomb's going to get planted, but there's quite a bit of money on at least two or three of those players. So they might be tempted to. Nowhere goes down. It is a very hard retake. Like, even if it's the A-bomb site here, just 5 versus 3, you're going to run out of time very lightly. Shackle's going to go down, so that's 3 versus 3. If they were thinking about it before, then they definitely are now. Even if the clock's running low, you can run on there, try and defuse the bomb last second. It is doable. Flash going over, and they're trying to see if they can power their way through. But, great crossfire setup, and that should definitely be the round here. Namibia, very important to pick this one up, and it has to be the start of something big. Like, I think they need the last 2 rounds here to make it an 8-4.
Yeah, absolutely. They opt against picking up the AWP there at the end. I think you just want to stick with the likes of the AKs, at least for a little bit of that pace, right? I think pace is where they're actually finding a lot of success. So for Namibia, I actually don't hate that call at the end, not picking up the orb. I feel like when you have it, it does inherently slow you down as a team, and that's actually what's killing them a little bit. When they're a little bit quicker and they've got that pace behind them, they actually are catching sort of Tunisia off guard.
Oh, look at this again.
Yeah, one's going to go quick, and they're actually going to be given all of this upper control for now, and a free run out towards B. Nobody's playing B. They're playing retake B, which is, that in itself is super risky.
I love that Molotov. They threw the Molotov on the stairs in Namibia so that they couldn't get flat banked, and now there's smoke behind them. Like, they've really made sure that they can get in here. This is actually a really sick out-of-spawn call coming through from Namibia.
Yeah.
And I don't think Tunisia is going to be able to break their way through here. 3 versus 3. They should have this one on lockdown. I say that as Tora does go down. Remind will get the kill on nowhere. It's just Kazi left. 1 versus 2, and he's shot in the back. Great retake coming through. A little bit scary with the Molotov on top of the bomb. You're going to be careful here, but they're going to make it work. That's a difficult retake, but Tunisia make it work.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was the right call. I got to say, for just inherently, Tunisia playing no B presence is very, very risky. I know that the whole idea is around that lower tons play, but it does leave you very exposed. You've got to normally have at least one player who's at least a sort of a mid to B player, can rotate into his window quickly, or an Orpo who holds into his doors as they cross out, gets 1 or 2. Having 0 presence like that, against, an execute or as a post plant which has a lot of util behind it and kind of perfect in that sense, it can actually be basically impossible to get back in. But in that sense, the smokes fade early, the fights go well, and I think just too many bodies to look for Namibia on the other side. Final round of the half. And Tunisia, the opportunity of a 10-2 finish, and it might just be there for them. Regal for the first. Looks for a second. Jadon will get caught by Kazi, but the Molotov does the damage for the trade.
Yeah, Kazi had to sit inside that grenade just to kind of keep up the fights. Rigler, got to be careful. Maybe get the reload in. Remind is here as well. And they're going to pull back that attack onto long, which they kind of had to, but it's very tricky. Like, it takes a lot of time. You have to backtrack and check the whole map out. Still winnable here for Namibia.
Gonna leave Remind up on top of Blue Crayon. I don't hate this. It's not a good 1-for-1 angle. It's just very rarely checked, if we're being completely honest, but he'll pull off it.
Wow,
sees the AK, that's all he wants, really. Picks that up, gets out of there. Gonna rotate back over. All holding over towards short. Remind gonna play back and towards side as well. It's a decent little setup. The only issue is the Orb can get caught here without Remind being able to trade him if there was a long play, but there isn't. Remind. Oh, he jumps up, he'll get caught. Poked out with the Orb. Gotta go for at least 2 here, and he will. 3rd on the cards. Might just be a possibility as Zeph will catch him. Molotov down. Bomb going to be planted. He's going to be given that luxury, but he gets off it. And Riegler catches him on the swing. 10-2 at the half. Tunisia making light work out of Dust 2.
Yeah, that's really, really comprehensive. I think even the way that Remind picked up the AK down at long, it almost proved that, like, he knew that they weren't going to be there. Like, there's no way you jump down like that if you think the T's might be around. So for whatever reason, he was super confident that they had exited that position. So he's like, all right, I'm going to rotate up. Made a bit of a mistake himself jumping up, but overall, good round, good half. Yeah, it's their map pick, and they look confident.
There's just very little you can complain about, really, at all. It's been super clean from Tunisia. And this is the thing we spoke about a little bit in towards map number 1, but we have spoke plenty of times every time we've caught this team. It's all about consistency out from them, right? Consecutive rounds get put on the board for them, and gun rounds really do find a level where a lot of teams, it's at moments flash in the pan. So far, so good. Remind will kickstart things well. Catches Shackles. That's arguably the most important man to catch at the moment. His form's been great.
Yeah.
And if him falling going to make things awkward. Falaz, one of his owners. Kazik also going to drop 6 feet under. This is making this a possibility. But 2-roll, double down. Tries to catch her on the cross of the smoke, but can't. Sight lost, but a retake not impossible.
Yeah, nice shots from Tora. I mean, they needed that to even be competitive in this round here. Retake nowhere coming up catwalk. If he dies, then they can pretty much focus just on that ramp coming out of the CT spawn. So, yeah, this fight for nowhere is super important right here. And he's going to win it against Wriggler. It's not bad. Pate actually fluffing a couple of shots here, and Fallas goes down, and somehow that's a 3 versus 5 that they've turned around. That's so unlikely.
Yeah, you see Namibia as well getting pretty hyped off the back of that. They needed that. They have to start in towards this half well. We're talking pistol, force buy, and then probably the first 2 gun rounds have to go their way before we can then sort of entertain the conversation about a comeback and about making this competitive, and that's the perfect way to start it. A good retake, a retake which feels very inherently just disadvantaged in itself, and they do make it work for them. Really well done. Maybe just slightly over-fighting, slightly exposed as well in Tunisia's setup. And it will cost them. But of course, still a 10-3. They're by no means under any sort of pressure just yet for Tunisia. Plenty of opportunities to be able to get to a point of closing this map and series out in their favor.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be worried about it. But for Namibia, I mean, that's yeah, you're right. They're excited about it. I can't really blame them. They had to win that. We'll see how much they can build on top of it. This round, I mean, presents some danger. Even if it's 2 Galils, they can be really powerful. You don't want to underestimate it either. Shackles, you can see he's well aware. Someone could be sneaking up long. He wants to take a little bit of a peek here. Jiggling the corner just to keep the information. And pushing down middle right now is Tura, so he doesn't want to keep going. I thought maybe he was going to try and sneak all the way up there, but now they're out. This is dangerous for Shackles. You got to be real careful. They're getting closer all the time. Good flashbang to set it up, and they run him down, and more people are in danger. Tora, he could get caught as well. He's very lucky to even make it out alive there. Down to 6 health.
Utah was a little thin on the T side in this 2 versus. The bomb will go down. MP9 jumping can sometimes be a little bit of a menace, but Jadon's not spotting out anything. He's low, 13 points of HP. Basically, the only way he should play this is just tucking his head and hoping that Falaz can find early fights for free. And he will. Falaz gets 1. Jadon gets 1 of his own as well. Another spot in towards long. This could be doable. All down to nowhere in a 1 versus 2 now, Clutch. And he has no idea where the second guy is. Now we'll spot him. Down goes Jadon. Falaz still alive. On towards the sight, and the MP9 ripped his head off. What a find by Nowhere. And Namibia find yet another round, and he is getting pumped up. That's what we want to see, and this is where now they can start talking about getting in towards this game. Pistol round found, force buy found as well. So this next round is going to be a no-buy from Tunisia. They got a bit of bomb plant, sure, so they could potentially tempt a force. But
yeah, it'd be very aggressive if they did. Like, if you played it by the book, you would say we have such a long buffer.
Half buy this, buy next type vibe. Yeah.
But we'll see how aggressive they want to be. I'm shocked that Nowhere managed to win. That's very, very hard. Like, he was getting... He was getting shot at from all angles, even getting onto the bomb site. That's pretty well played. All right, yeah, they want to double down. And obviously, if they win this Tunisia, the economy on the CT side is going to be blown wide open. So, yeah, aggressive, but potentially worth it. Again, they're out long. I think they just feel like they've got such an upper hand in terms of the one-to-one battles here that they will surely find a way through. Yeah,
double AK, double Galil, and a Deagle for Falaz, who is the one who picked up the bulk of the Utah. Utah, apart from him, is pretty slim, so he's got to try and stay alive at the very least. He can't kind of take a fight early for and then just really have no Utah to work with, bar whatever he drops. But smoking a flash on Chidonj and Remind. 1 minute 10, a very quiet move being made here. Contact play, no information being gained so far. Kazi did spot the head. He's now relayed this information over. He might spot a second as well. Jumping up towards Xbox. Remind, first fight is good. Kazi for a double. Nade and the MP9 simultaneously finding a second kill there.
That is really, really sick. Cross smokes might be a little bit late, but at least they make their way past. Shackles here. We'll get both of them, and it should be enough. Fallas going to try and pick up an AK somewhere. 1 versus 3. He's got a little bit of time here for the bomb part, but he doesn't really know that, right? He has no information about how close they are. So very, very tricky. And he's kind of playing it assuming that they're going to power their way through. He might catch one of them here. Like, it's unlikely that he would have gone back to this position. Yeah. But actually, Namibia, look at the discipline. They're staying really far away. I appreciate this. They're not just saying, oh, the round is probably won, let's just run him down. They're saying, no, let's be very sure. So, yeah, great bit of discipline being shown here by the Namibian squad. Fallos get the first one, 8 seconds left, and they're still down there. He's going to have to plant the bomb right now if he wants to, and he'll have just enough time for it. We'll see if they can jump and take him down. Bomb planted, 1 versus 2 now. Fallos already tacked up a little bit here. He should be dead, and there'll be nowhere to take him down. Another close clutch, but Namibia, and they're putting in the work.
Yeah, that's good. That's really well played. I think at that tail end there, they just take too many fights in here that they actually really just shouldn't be taking, and it cost them. And it will allow Namibia now to slowly but surely get back in towards this game. The T side is actually letting Tunisia down a little bit, which surprised us because on day one, the T side was really where they did a lot of their best work. You know, remind on these lurks and these slightly unorthodox plays that would come through and catch off a lot of players. It's not happening so far, and maybe Tunisia needs to change things up a little bit. But the buy is going to be awkward. Remind Hero AK, the rest of the team taking a half-ish buy. The 1.1k left for Regal is going to leave him a little low, but loss bonus is building up. But Hero AK, for Remind, a lot of onus on his shoulders to get active. And of course, if anybody, you probably would put it on him.
If you look at the money on the Namibian side, it tells the story about why Tunisia want to keep the pressure on. It's just no money on anybody really on the CT side. So even like, you know, 3 kills in a round like this, it's more pressure. It's going to be harder for Namibia. Like, they're all the time just 1 round away from almost losing the map, or at least getting, you know, Tunisia to 12. So that's kind of the name of the game here. Shackle, see if he could do what he's been doing pretty much all series long and find an opening. It's a great shot, but he can't escape. The Deagle, Chadonj will take him down. And now Tura just hiding on the ramp with the AWP is very uncomfortable here. 1 missed shot and you're going to be dead. And you might be anyway. They're hunting you down. Wriggler. The antidote for the AWP is that MAC-10 just running him down. Bomb planted, and Namibia might think about saving this unless they get into it right away, because again, they don't have the cash to lose these rifles. It's going to be tricky. It's
very true. They have made it a 3 versus 3, so that could tempt fate with a retake. This next fight is going to be uber important. Whoever takes it basically should give them the confidence, and that might be a chance. Fallos at range. Deagle finds one. AK up close as well from Goose. And finally, for the first time in a long time, Tunisia will get around back on the board. An inch ever closer to the map and the series. Bit by bit, moment by moment. And for Namibia, that's going to hurt. Like you said, losing that round and, of course, losing all those rifles means no buy-in towards the next. They don't have loss bonus built up. They don't have anything of the sort, so they're just going to have to eco this. And it means they're playing for overtime now. They're more or less playing for a 12-5 scoreline to try and turn back on its head. That's difficult. Very difficult indeed.
Looks like I have maybe a bit of a reset. Maybe it's just a hut. I'm not sure, but one player seems to have maybe been disconnected. So, I mean, that's there's a lot of rationale behind it for Tunisia, like keeping the pressure on all the time, and you get the reward for it here. You can kind of tell the money you could force up, but my God, like it's dangerous here. Tunisia in a good position once again. Fallos playing very well. He's got 17 kills at the moment. It's wild.
Yeah, and a lot of the time as well, he's the one who's sort of taking the hit and only having a Deagle when everyone else full buys and that kind of thing, and he's still doing really, really well. Interesting as well, something I've noticed throughout this series so far is that 3 different people have bought in and had the AWP over towards Namibia. We've had Shackles nowhere, and then Tura in that last round, who've all picked up the AWPs. I'm not sure in this case if it was spawn-based, which is definitely a potential. Could be a spawn-based peek out towards Long, but we saw in different occasions where both Nowhere and Shackles both picked up the AWP in that previous map and in this one as well. So my assumption is that Nowhere was the primary AWPer, but who knows? Who knows? At least they've got that kind of versatility, flexibility when it comes to it. Slight tech issue, though, of course, as we're waiting to get things back underway. I think we have lost Tura, am I right in saying? Yeah. Over to get him back in.
We'll get him back.
Yeah.
I'm sure about that. But
could just be a classic PC reset if I had to guess.
It happens, you know.
That's CS2, isn't it?
Yeah, there's that. There's, you know, just all the different little pieces of hardware that can potentially fail. I feel like there's always at least a couple of microphones at some point where you're like, oh, what's happening? So we'll see if we can get it back online and get the show back on the road. Yeah. Do you believe we have another best of 3 coming up later in the day as well?
Egypt versus South Africa.
That could actually be a bit of an interesting game, I think.
It could. Egypt looked very good in the qualifier, but then South Africa as a region is probably seen as one of the best in this entire continent when it comes towards Counter-Strike. A lot of talent has come from that region. Obviously, we all know about Project Bravado. They're the thing where players like JT and Sonic came, right? And then over on the other side, where they've now sent a new cohort, this time to Europe rather than North America. It's pretty cool. I'm interested to see how things sort of pan out for them as well. And there's been a couple of other teams that have come through that have looked pretty solid. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what South Africa can bring. They finished second in their group behind Tunisia.
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah, I seem to remember them playing quite well on the Egyptian side. So I'm really interested to see if they're going to be putting up a bit of a fight there.
They got 10 rounds against Tunisia. Nobody else in the qualifier did. So that itself is pretty
good sign.
Good, right? Yeah, it's a sign that they're a side that you definitely can't underestimate or anything of the sort. But hopefully we'll get Sura back in as soon as. It seems like it is just that classic PC reset. It's Counter-Strike, ladies and gents. That is just how things work out here.
Yeah, restart things, see if they work better the next time. It's a classic move, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think so far again, like Namibia, just you've no expectations coming in, but like showing that there's definitely like room for growth here. Like there's like there are people in the region who are familiar with the game and all the rest of it. So hopefully they can just kind of keep making it, keep qualifying for the regional qualifier for Africa in the future, and like keep building on it. I think that'd be sick.
Yeah, and of course, this being the first African Esports Championships, it's quite cool. This is setting the bar, and then we get to see hopefully what the next few years can bring. Other regions get to host it and all the rest. I'm always going to bring my bias and say I'd love to see South Africa host it. Opportunity for me to go back home, that'll be cool. But
I mean, listen,
a lot of other places where it could be done, right?
I'll join you. I've never been to South Africa.
Cool. I'll show you around.
I'm down to go, of course.
Yeah, but also like Egypt as well is a pretty good esports scene as well, so potentially that could be a place. I've been to one place in Egypt. I don't really know how esports ready it is, but Sharm el Sheikh, it's like a holiday destination.
That is a holiday destination.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, Egypt's actually, that's a probably good shot as well. Like, I guess travel, like we said, is always going to be a little bit tricky in Africa.
Beautiful
just because of the
country.
size of it. But Egypt, I mean, like that could be a cool hub to get people to. That might make sense.
It's a really beautiful country. When I went, I mean, it was years ago now, but it was really nice. But yeah,
I've mostly flown over Egypt, so I haven't had a chance to really touch down, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm down. Like, and obviously Algeria can make it, but like like Algeria and Tunisia probably also like interesting positions in the future to potentially find.
Who knows? Tunisia could do well here, could win this, and then they could be a team that, or at least an organization like, hey, we can host this, we can give this a go.
We're interested. Very, very, so, I mean, like, first time around here, we're getting like a real sense of it. As far as I can tell from just rumors that I've heard, like it seems like there are like more countries from Africa are now interested in, like you're saying, in saying like, okay, like actually this seems cool. Like we kind of want to join in, we want to participate. Yeah, which is awesome. Like that's what we want to see.
Exactly.
The
goal is to have basically everybody playing in some region, in some game, or in some sort of sense, right? And I think the more you do this, the more people see the opportunities, and that's where it comes from.
Yeah, and also because like I think this, in some ways, this is like the promise of like I think essentially all sports, right? Like it's this idea of like connecting across like cultural barriers and all the rest of it. Yeah. But esports maybe even more so because of the digital aspect of it, right? Like you can sort of play against people like like it's a little bit harder with football. You have to like find a football field to play on. Like we can do it online here for a lot of it. So I think that's like a great future promise for esports. So we can get there. That'd be really sick. Still, the African server infrastructure is a little bit rough at the moment. Yeah. Which I mean, like that'd be a huge step in the right direction if we can sort of like get there. We talked to a lot of the players, and they're like, yeah, we're playing on like
200 ping or whatever.
Yeah, like servers in Dubai, or we're doing like we're having to sort of like figure out a way to do that, which is it's unfortunate. It's a bit of a barrier to play some of these areas.
I know it's something that they're actively trying to fix over in Asia. So I was telling you about the servers in Guam. Which is just an island in between. It sort of connects all of them, including Australia. So everybody sort of plays on the same ping, which is like 80 ping. So maybe that's something that can be worked out. I mean, 80 ping is, I play with friends from North America, from England, and I play on 80 ping. It's doable. Like it's not the best. I'd love to be on 5 ping, but it is actually it's somewhat workable. So that's sort of their fix at the moment for it.
I say there's got to be like a crazy billionaire out there who wants to like. I think that the strategy has to be to try and anchor Australia to like the rest of the like the Asia, and like pull it back. Like you put like some huge like metal wires, and just over time like you just like try to, because that's a good like you can't. Unfortunately, there's no fix for like the the speed of light is the limit for how much we can send data.
Yeah.
Like the round trip time for Australia is just always going to be like super harsh, right?
Yeah.
So pull it back. Like that's it's a long-term fix, but over the span of like a couple of 100 years, I'm sure we can get there. Just like every year you tighten the screws a little bit, you pull it back like another 2 centimeters, and then
I also read that that's happening to the moon. The moon's like every year it's going further away. So apparently, like I don't know who knows
anchor
when.
that too.
Yeah, it's
get it back.
A day's going to be 25 hours, not 24. Eventually, at some point.
Yeah.
But tech issues concluded. It looks like we are ready to go. Turo back in the server. It looks like ready to get this one underway.
No esports on the moon yet either. I mean,
yeah, I know.
It's a shame. We'll get there.
When was when they meant to like holidays to the moon? Wasn't that like something that people were talking about for a while? Or he's flying somewhat up in space on like, was it Virgin? I think we're doing like flights basically into space.
Near space flights.
And it cost like 500K a ticket or whatever it was.
Yeah, miss me with that.
Yeah, hell no, absolutely hell no. We are about to get back underway in towards this game. Tech and TAC pause concluded, and now we get the show back up on the road. We said as well for Namibia, you're in a tough spot. You either letting this round slide because your money's broken and you play for overtime, or you play for here and now. They're going to go for a buy here as well. So we've got a double FAMAS, double MP9, and a 5-7 with half armor to round it out. So this is all chips to the middle of the felt. This is the all-in call, right? Lose this is probably the map, but win it, and it might give you the much better chance.
Yeah, that's true. Like you're saying, we don't really want to play necessarily for overtime. We're trying to make a real comeback happen right now, and I even appreciate the fact that they're actually being very aggressive with it. Because again, like if you're playing a default with no utility or whatever, it's going to be super hard. So they really were rolling the dice, like you said, all the chips to the center of the table, and it's not been a great start for them here. They can still be recovered, but it won't be easy. 3 versus 5. You could see Seth maybe with a chance to get a kill, but Remind is going to take down Kazi, and that really blows it open. Seth, he might get a free one, might even get a free double kill, but it's still not going to be easy behind this. USB's out, and no scope for Pate, and that's Tunisia getting it a series point.
Yeah, MP9 runs out of ammo, and I'm kind of surprised the USB doesn't just chase him down. It's an AWP, right? He's just taking a shot. You know he's got kind of this half a second where he has to kind of cock the gun again to go back in, and he gives him that luxury of being able to do that. Then the no-scope connects, bit of fortune and all of the rest. And Tunisia, map and series point for them over Namibia. This being their map pick and showcasing just how good they've been so far. So good. And only one more, and unfortunately, money is going to be pretty dire over towards the Namibian side. Scout picked up what we see so far, and a few upgraded pistols going to be around it. It's not going to be easy at all.
Okay.
Good start for Zeph, though.
Yeah, that's the beginning. There's still everyone is here for Tunisia. They've got grenades forever. Like, they can keep these 2 positions essentially Molotov for until the bomb goes up. So either way, it's not going to be easy. Reminder, Pate, and right through the smoke. He's going to get another kill. That's absolutely disgusting. Turo on his own. And I think for Namibia, it's the end of the road in this series here. It'll be the last kill going the way of Tunisia as they take the series 2-0 and defeat Namibia.